So it's a given that every sitcom and cartoon tried to nail that holiday episode, Christmas, Halloween, Valentine's Day. But one Fox animated sitcom, they tend to go above and beyond, and it's almost become a tradition for them to have a Thanksgiving episode, and that is Fox's Bob's Burgers. And today on Ranked, we're going to be ranking in order all of the Thanksgiving episodes of Bob's Burgers. See you after the flip. Bob Belcher loves his restaurant, his family, and Thanksgiving. For every season since the third season, there's been a featured Thanksgiving episode. And for this video, we wanted to take a look back and see how the Belchers handle turkey time. In addition, we'll be giving our rankings for each episode in order from least favorite to favorite. And if you disagree with our rankings, please let us know what we got wrong in the comments. And let us know what your favorite Thanksgiving episode is as well. And as always, if you're not subscribed, please consider giving us a sub. Each sub gets us closer to 1,000, and make sure you hit the bell notification to stay notified for all of our new videos. Let's go ahead and get started with the bottom of the list. With 10th place, we have Gail making bobsled. It is Thanksgiving Day at the Belcher home in the season 6 episode when Linda reminds Bob that her sister Gail needs to be picked up before dinner is ready, as Gail was on the mend from a freak salsa dancing accident. Bob gives Linda some very basic instructions on how to start and cook Thanksgiving dinner. Then he departs to pick up his sister-in-law, as he doesn't trust Linda to drive in the snow without an incident. As Bob is waiting on Gail to get ready, his car becomes buried in a pile of snow by a snowplow. Bob calls Linda, who tends to freak out over the fact that she's getting even more instructions on how to prepare this Thanksgiving meal. She's not really listening. Linda is beginning to crack under the turkey pressure, but is keeping it together for now. Bob attempts to drag Gail through the snow. At this point, the episode starts to flip between Bob's journey and then Linda's journey in the kitchen. She has the kids help make sides, which are some combinations of candy and food. It's revealed that Gail has faked her injury to get attention because she felt Mr. Frond broke up with her because he went to his aunt for Thanksgiving. And it's revealed that he actually did just go to his aunt's for Thanksgiving. This episode is good because it has a nice Bob and Gail. It focuses primarily on their relationship, and that's where the bulk of the episode is. It's Bob laying in the snow because he's too tired to continue walking. Overall, it's a good episode, but it winds up here on the list. Coming in at number 9 is I Bob Your Pardon. This episode has the Belcher's hometown starting a new Thanksgiving tradition where the mayor pardons a turkey, and that turkey will go off and live in an animal sanctuary for the rest of its life. But the Belcher kids overhear that the turkey actually isn't going to a sanctuary and is instead going to a slaughterhouse, since they weren't able to get in touch with the animal sanctuary in time. If you're a fan of Bob's Burgers, this episode will feel very familiar. There's a car chase, and Linda gets way too involved in the kids' schemes. Laws are broken, personal privacy is violated, and Bob gets very annoyed. It is just a standard Bob's Burgers episode, really no memorable lines or moments. At the number 8 spot, we have Dawn of the Peck. Now, before you get too many questions about Dawn of the Peck's placement on the list, let's preface it with this. It's a top tier episode. That's pretty obvious. Our biggest gripe with the episode is admittedly pretty pedantic, but it's the fact that the episode's plot can't be confined to Thanksgiving. It could have been just any day in their crazy town. The Dawn of the Dead send-up is a great episode where Linda, Teddy, Mickey, and the kids have to battle off against ill-tempered poultry. Bob is spending his day being angry at his family because they'd rather be off at Wonder Wharf doing the turkey trot instead of waiting around the house for Thanksgiving dinner to be served. In these cases, Bob does what Bob does best. He drinks and he talks to himself. This episode has some really great moments with a lot of the side characters, such as Andy and Ollie, regular sized Rudy, and everyone's favorite bank robber, Mickey. The episode has a lot of fun moments. One of the best moments was Bob drunkenly talking to his turkey baster, getting emotional and deciding he is going to make Thanksgiving dinner as he's destined to do. Bob ends up going to the grocery and he helps put all the turkeys back in order with pecks. Linda becoming the queen pecker lands this at its current spot. Rolling in at number 7 is Now We're Not Cooking with Gas. It's Thanksgiving Day and Bob has just scored the creme de la creme of turkeys, a Riverbrook Lake Farms heritage turkey. Just so you know, it's the Ferrari turkeys, so you know what we're dealing with here. Tina is busy setting up her Thunder Girls attitude tree as Bob is preparing to put his super turkey in the oven. He discovers he has no gas and won't have gas for a few days. So before panicking too much, he comes up with the idea of cooking the turkey outside in the alleyway. The idea is to cook the turkey over a roaring fire in the alleyway, but obviously his fire isn't roaring. So his plan is to have his family go out and scavenge for various wood, anything that's combustible, anything that can get this fire going and get this turkey cooked. Bob also has to contend with the fire marshal who is continuously threatening to put out his fire if he doesn't put it out himself. Long story short, the turkey gets torched, but luckily his Thanksgiving meal isn't wasted as he reveals that underneath the burnt turkey is the succulent, moist, cooked turkey underneath. This episode is great because we get to see Bob more unhinged, like the rest of the family that he views as most of the time is little unhinged, little out there. It's nice to see that come full circle. Stuck in the kitchen with you. This episode starts out with the Belchers heading to a nursing home to volunteer on Thanksgiving Day. But Bob is super excited to get back to his home so he can do his maple glazed turkey. This episode is unique because it has 3 different subplots going on. The first one is probably the least involved in it, as Linda trying to help Sergeant Bosco get his mom out of her room and enjoy the Thanksgiving festivities with her fellow nursing home attendees. But she is determined to stay there until her other son, Gary, calls. Then the Belcher kids meet Zeke, who is attempting to get the TV on for the annual parade so that all the residents can watch the Thanksgiving Day parade, but the cable is out. So Zeke, Jean, and Tina take it upon themselves to reenact a live parade right there in the nursing home. And probably the biggest plot of this episode is the one where Bob is asked to cook Thanksgiving dinner for the nursing home after the nursing home cook and her husband, who's also the other cook, had a baby. Her water broke, so they were at the hospital, leaving the kitchen in ruins. Bob steps in and with the help of Louise, cook Thanksgiving dinner. Bob is super amped about this. He's able to cook this awesome dinner for everybody. Louise tries to help Bob cook in the kitchen. She's super excited about toasting the marshmallows on the sweet potato pie casserole, and she becomes Captain Casserole. But Bob is constantly telling her she's doomed to frunk, so she doesn't really want to do it anymore. So she eventually purposely cooks bad, but Bob, trying to be the ever-loving dad that he is, encourages her as she continues to cook wrong. And all in all, the residents get an awesome, fun DIY parade by Jean, Tina, and Zeke. Linda is successful in helping get Bosco's mom out of her room. And this episode was, I think, definitely a step up from some previous years. It has a good feel, it's nice, it's fun, it's very Thanksgiving involved. Lots of components of the holiday are incorporated. Obviously the food, but the crafts, the hand turkey crafts, the parade. Definitely a step up in the past few years that have been good, but not necessarily to the standard of a Bob's Burgers Thanksgiving episode. At number 5, we have Thanks Hoarding. Teddy, the loyal patron of Bob's Burgers, has a problem. Well, actually he has a lot of problems, bless his heart. But this specific problem that he has is that he's having to play host to his mom, his sister, her husband, his mom's new slightly age-inappropriate boyfriend. Problem is, he doesn't know how to host a Thanksgiving dinner. He doesn't know how to make a Thanksgiving dinner. So who does he call on to help? You guessed it, Bob. Since Bob is busy planning his own Thanksgiving, he's very apprehensive in helping Teddy plan his and do his, so he gives him pointers and notes. Teddy insists that he's a visual learner. He needs Bob to come over, actually reenact him putting the turkey in the oven with times and all of that. And while Bob is busy helping Teddy prep for Thanksgiving, Linda, Jean, Louise, and Tina are looking around his house, and they go into this one room where it's filled to the brim with junk. And this room is actually one that Teddy gave an ominous rule of don't go into that room before he left off with Bob to help prep for Thanksgiving. Teddy discovers that the Belchers have discovered his hoarding room, and As he explains, it's his things, his stuff, it's the things that he's going to be fixing. The kids are on the quest to find the best thing, and Bob and Linda try to help Teddy get over his hoarding problems by helping him get rid of some of the items. This episode is actually a pretty emotional one. It deals with Teddy and the fact that he had childhood trauma, which progressed to him hoarding, and from there, hoarding and trying to fix things all the time. And this is a notable episode because they actually get to eat Thanksgiving dinner. Number 4 brings us an indecent Thanksgiving proposal. In this inaugural Thanksgiving episode, the Belchers are at the restaurant doing their daily routine when they're approached by their mysterious landlord, Mr. Fishover, who has a proposition for them. He needs their help to woo the sharpshooter of his dreams. But in order to do so, he must have Linda and the Belcher kids pretend to be his family, to be his wife and his kids, so that the home-wrecking love interest will take the bait. In exchange for the charade, Calvin agrees to give the Belchers 5 months free rent. At first, Bob's a little hesitant, but he agrees because 5 months free rent is 5 months free rent. And as for Bob's part in this, he'll act as the family chef and cook Thanksgiving meal for the Fishovers. So the next day, upon arriving at the Fishover house, Bob has devised a plan to where they can still do their family traditions, such as him and Jean playing football, him and Tina breaking the wishbone, and Louise and Bob playing turkey crime scene investigators, Miami. And lastly, to top it all off, to give his famous traditional toast that he does at Thanksgiving dinner. So Mr. Fishover greets them and tells them that he has a prize system in place to where the kids will get prizes for who shows the most love and admiration to Calvin. Once Shelby, Mr. Fishover's love interest, arrives, the gang pulls out all the stops to try and win enough points to earn the prize, all while Bob gets drunk off absinthe in the kitchen. The turkey, which Bob has been talking to even before he was drinking, he is named Lance. And Lance is the sounding board for Bob's drunken rambles. As the night goes on, Bob quickly learns that his kids are more interested in earning points than seeing their Belcher traditions run their course. Eventually, Bob becomes very intoxicated and has a My Neighbor Totoro absinthe-fueled dream, while Lance creates a giant beanstalk out of the Thanksgiving food, and Bob laughs like a madman. The scheme eventually falls through when Bob comes out drunkenly, tries to give his toast to everybody, and Calvin and him battle on who's going to give the toast. Eventually it's revealed after some Bob hunting by Shelby that the Belchers aren't actually Calvin's family. The family snaps back to reality to try and save Bob, but Lance, the cooked Thanksgiving turkey, is tragically shot and killed. In the end, Shelby decided that she has too much pride in herself to not be with an unmarried man. All in all, not a bad start to the Thanksgiving episodes of Bob's Burgers. Number 3 is the Courtducers. In this season 7 episode, Louise only wants one thing, and it's a proper half day the Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and not to spend the full day at school and to watch one of Mr. Franz's boring Thanksgiving plays. Tina is working on her new erotic friend fiction, or in this case, erotic holiday fiction, called The Quirky Turkey, which is about a turkey that is totally not an avatar of Tina, getting the best of a bunch of good-looking turkeys that bully her. There isn't too much going on the B plot with Bob and Linda. Only real thing of notice is that Linda finds a potato that looks like the grandpa who she calls Grandpa Potato. In this plot that's inspired by Mel Brooks' The Producers, Louise wants to put on Tina's story of the Quirky Turkey as the most offensive and awful play ever, so that Mr. Franz will cancel the play and thus having them fulfill their goal of having a proper half day. She eventually convinces Mr. Franz to letting her do so and gives him the title of executive producer, which has no real power or control over the play as is stated. So Tina learns that the true plan is obviously upset at the fact that she's just being used and her work is being used in order to get the play. The others involved don't seem to mind that much because who wouldn't want a half day? During the show, Louise puts her big plan in action. She blows up the giant heads of the turkeys, which have been filled with various turkey guts and innards and blood, all the blood. And it's in that moment, as the crowd is getting sick, that Louise realizes that kind of messed up in this moment. Kind of went too far with her plan, and as Mr. Fron is about to come up and cancel it all, Tina saves the day with a custom song that in performance that saves the entire play and performance. This episode is one that is pretty awesome because it shows some actual growth and character development for Louise, as she gets an idea of what some of the real world implications are of some of her crazy actions. In the end, Tina redeems herself, Louise learns a lesson, and Grandpa Potato gets to see his grand spuds on the stage. At the number 2 slot is Diary of a Poopy Kid. This season 11 episode starts off on Thanksgiving Day, as Jean is stuck in the bathroom, sick with the stomach flu, and Bob is in the kitchen trying some new innovative recipes for Thanksgiving dinner. Tina and Louise go to check on Jean, who is obviously upset that he's not able to partake in the best food of the year. So in an attempt to help distract him from smelling the warm cheese outside, they attempt to tell him a story that will help him hate food. The story that Louise tells is a la Predator, aka The Breadator. This is where Jean portrays super soldier Dutch Oven, helping to eradicate the wheat trees of the dangerous breadinator that looks a lot like Bob made from bread. Tina tells a story based on Air Force One, where pairs hijack President Gene Belcher Harrison Ford's plane and promise to peel the clothes off everyone aboard unless people start to enjoy pears as much as they do apples. During this time, Bob discovers what has caused Gene to be ill, and it was the fact that he took a bite out of some old moldy chicken parm in the fridge. When the rest of the family is being served Thanksgiving dinner, Bob takes time to go visit Gene through the bathroom door to tell him one more story about a Texas-sized chicken parm that's rapidly heading towards Earth. And the only person to stop it is marinara drilling rig operator Gene, much like the disaster epic Armageddon. It all comes together when Gene admits to eating the chicken parm in the fridge, giving him food poisoning and not the stomach flu. Gene is finally able to exit the bathroom after passing the sip test, where he has to keep crackers and juice down for 30 minutes. Each story is a wonderfully detailed animation paying tribute to their source material. And with that, we'll take you to the number 1 spot on the list. If you've been keeping track, you should know what it is. But before we get into it, we have a small request for you. If you can, please take the moment and to subscribe to our channel. Every subscriber helps us get closer to 1,000. And if you are already a subscriber, thank you. And if you would like to see some behind the scenes content, exclusive videos, and even get a sneak peek of upcoming content, please consider subscribing to our Patreon. Every dollar helps us. For those $1 a month, you can too. And we'd love to have you as a patron and to help us continue to make awesome content. And now, at the number 1 spot, we have Turkey in the Can. This season 4 episode has Bob setting up the perfect turkey on the 3-day brine, which he is dubbing the father of the brine. Gail's over with her cats due to a fire in her apartment, and as Bob is allergic to cats, Linda gives him some allergy medicine to help deal with the onslaught of cats, which I think she has 4 or 5 at that point. Jean, Linda, and Gail work on a Thanksgiving song, since there's a criminal lack of songs about Thanksgiving. Tina spends her time trying to convince everyone that she's old enough to join the adults at the grown-up table this year. Louise is given a blanket that says don't pull anything, since she's known to pull off a scheme or 2 or 10. The day turns to night, and as the family is asleep, a most foul crime has been committed. Someone put the turkey in the toilet. Everyone gathers around quickly to try to solve the problem, to see who will own up to it, and shocker, no one does. Bob heads out to get another turkey, and there's a great subplot going on here about Bob and the work behind the meat counter, which goes on throughout the episode, which was awesome and really funny. So Bob has this new turkey, and he has to put it on a 2-day brine instead of a 3-day brine, which won't be as good, but it'll have to do. Louise pulls out a bulletin board, which she then goes through the various motivations for all the family members except herself. With the second turkey in the brine, it's nighttime, and you know what that means. Turkey number 2 goes number 2 in the toilet, and it's placed in there by somebody, and yet again, no one owns up to it. After this bird dunk, Bob gets a genius plan to buy 2 turkeys, but keep one in the restaurant's walk-in, unbeknownst to the toilet turkey terrorists. Back at the meat counter, the butcher begins to believe that Bob might have a crush on him as he keeps on buying more and more turkeys. Bob takes the turkeys, the butcher's number, and heads back home to get them seasoned and prepped in secret. That is until Linda needs to come to reapply her deodorant, leaving her to be the only other one that knows about the double turkey situation. Bob attempts to stake out the upstairs fridge, but falls asleep on duty and finds his decoy worked and has been placed in the toilet. He and the rest of the family head downstairs to find the real turkey has also been submerged deep into the porcelain throne. One final time, Bob goes back to get another turkey, and the butcher at this point is worn down by Bob's advances and agrees to go on a date with Bob, and reveals that things aren't really going that well with his current boyfriend, and that Bob is flattered and also confused by his own sexuality, and tells the butcher that he needs to stay with his boyfriend, that he's out of Bob's leagues and it wouldn't work anyway. Back at the Belcher abode, Bob begins to work Thanksgiving dinner with a stupid, unbrined turkey. Bob triumphs over the forces of evil by serving the turkey and letting the culprit know that they didn't win. As Linda, Gail, and Jean perform their new Thanksgiving song, Bob drifts off to sleep but begins to dream. Bob picks up the turkey, cradles it like a baby, and begins walking off all while asleep. The rest of the family, plus Mort and Teddy, realize that Bob is sleepwalking but don't want to wake him since TV traditions say you don't wake a sleepwalker. Bob begins to talk to the turkey in a way that shows the family who the real culprit was the whole time: Bob himself. He has been sleepwalking turkeys to the bathroom, dreaming that they are Tina as a baby needing to use the potty. Since the turkey is hanging precariously over the toilet, it is decided to gently get the turkey into a safer place. To accomplish this, Louise violently slaps her father across the face a few times, waking him up. Teddy flies into what can only be described as Teddy mode and puts the now awake and confused Bob into a headlock. Further chaos ensues when Jean attempts to bring his out-of-sorts dad back to Earth. In the end, it was the allergy pills Bob was taking to stop the reaction to Gail's cats that caused the sleepwalking. The dreams of potty training Tina were likely related to the fact that Bob was scared of his kids getting older, with Tina asking to sit at the adults' table. It's a touching family moment that shows while Bob loves Thanksgiving, he almost loves his family just as much as he loves Thanksgiving. Do you disagree with our rankings? Let us know how you would rank them in the comments below. And make sure you subscribe and get notified for future episodes of Ranked and so much more we have coming up on the SPF Entertainment YouTube channel. Thanks and happy Thanksgiving.